Welcome to Google Weekly.
Welcome, my name is Bjorn Berendt, and this is the Google Weekly Podcast, which is part of the AskBJ.net network of EdTech services. Never stop learning. This is episode 11, Keeping Up with the 2012 U.S. Elections and Organizing Those Tasks, recorded January 9th, 2012. Well, before I get into what's new in Google, I want to talk about a few other things that are coming down the line. First of all, I am hosting a webinar through my AskBJ.net website. AskBJ.net is where I post all my resources and kind of like my little side business, which does consulting and training. But I will be doing a webinar on January 19th at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be talking about concept mapping software. The cost for that is $20, and there are 7 seats available. Again, that's going to be January 19th at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. Other things that I have coming down the line, I'm also hosting a VTEd Hangout February 6th at 3:15. That is specifically designed for Vermonters, but if there's other people that want to join, I'm sure you're more than welcome. It's going to be a hangout that I'm going to record and post to the show. So that, again, is happening February 6th at 3:15. Also, if you live in Vermont, we have the call for presenters for Dynamic Landscapes. If you want to present at Dynamic Landscapes in Vermont, I think the conference is in May, you can go to vita-learn.org and click on the big link that says Call for Presenters and fill it out and send that off to Ed Berry. In some exciting news, I try and keep track of how many hits hit the website. I've had 5,000 hits, according to Blogger, on this podcast, and that's since November when I started this. So thank you, everybody, for all your support. I think it's great. I'd love to see this grow. I'm hoping to see a little bit more comments come down the line. That's kind of how I would, get the show going, and I'm hoping to learn just as much from you as I hope you are learning from me. So please, keep the hits coming. Share this with your teachers. I started this podcast so I can keep my own teachers up to date with what's new in Google. I'm hoping other schools have adopted the same strategy. And please comment if you have some other things to say. I would like to hear them. Okay, one last thing before I go into the show. I got my new phone. I know I had an episode back that says, what phone should I get? And I finally decided. And I waited until the brand new year because I wanted to see if it was going to drop. And what I found out is it wasn't. I wound up choosing the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. I wanted a phone that was specifically built for Android 4. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I bought it from Wirefly for $230 with free shipping. That was a little bit cheaper than all the other alternatives. My experience with Wirefly has been very positive. They did make me verify that I was a Verizon customer, so I did have to call up and just verify my address. Shipped very quickly. Activation was very easy, and it was an all-around good experience with Wirefly. So I'm going to actually recommend them. They were also considerably less expensive than the other alternatives. Now that I have the phone, I have to give a quick review about it. First of all, I have to say it is too big. Phone manufacturers have been playing with the size for a little bit. My wife has the Incredible 2, and I think that is the perfect phone size. I can use it with my thumb, one-handed, where this one it's too big. I have to almost use it. It's designed to almost use with two hands, and when I try it with one, I just kind of have to hold it awkward, but it is there. The other things, the software is good, and I kind of been looking at following the Android software, and I really relate it to how Microsoft started. So the very early Androids, the pre-Droid, the original Droid phone, I would say is like Windows 95 equivalent of Android. Once Droid came out, that was probably like 98-ish, Windows 98-ish type of a phone. There's 2.3 that came out, which is what my wife's phone is running, and that's probably the equivalent of like Windows 2000. I would put Android 4, which is Ice Cream Sandwich, which is on the Samsung Galaxy, at like Windows XP. I think it's what the Android operating system that's going to bring everything together. It's going to help with development and really bring Android farther. I'm looking for probably that next version is probably going to be like the really nice one, and I'm looking forward to that. So, Android 4. What is the significance about Android 4? It's also called Ice Cream Sandwich. Well, the significance between that is it merges their tablet operating system and their phone operating system into one. So everything I can do on my phone, I can do on an Android tablet. The experience is exactly the same. And that's one of the things that makes it really appealing. For a developer, this means they only have to develop it for one operating system and one style. So I can see a lot of creativity going in this, a lot of development going into this one. So Android 4, with that merge, is a very big enhancement, especially to the developers. And we may not see it now, but we will see it as things come down. Now, one of the big differences between Android 4 and Android, I guess there are actually two. Android 3, I think, was just tablet only, but so Android 4 and Android 2 on the cell phones is that Android 2 point whatever had 4 physical buttons attached to the phone. Android 4 has basically 3 virtual buttons. And virtual buttons can be changed depending on the application. Again, Android is going to be that very versatile, very customizable tool out there. And you're going to lose some continuity, but you're going to gain features and customization. Which is better? I don't know. There's pluses and minuses to both. But that's kind of the difference. You're going to get, I think with like the iPhones, you're going to get that really standard look to it, very uncustomizable. It is always going to be the same. That may be easier to use unless you're trying to sync it. Hint, hint, hint. But with Android, you're going to find that every developer is going to be able to make it their own. Some of them are going to change the bottom buttons. I'm already noticing that it used to be you hit one button and you get all the settings. I'm finding that settings, which seems to be that 3 dots vertically on the new phones, some of them are at the top of the screen, some of them are at the bottom of the screen. So I'm hoping that's going to get all settled out and people are going to standardize on things. The idea behind this is it's up to the developer. They can choose how they want it to be built and what is best for theirs. So all in all, what is my conclusion about phones? If you have the original Droid or before, if you're at that point, go ahead and get the new ice cream sandwich. It's nice. It's worth it. You will like the new phones. If you have a newer phone than that, I would say, why don't you hold off? If you can hold off another 6 months, another 2 quarters, I think the second generation ICS phones are going to be much, much better. I think they're coming up with faster and smaller phones and a little bit more choice, where right now I think I had choice between the Motorola and the Android were the two ones I was trying to decide from. Motorola still had the hard-coded buttons in there, but they're just too big, in my opinion. Other than that, I am happy with my phone. It is very fast, it works very well, and I'm looking forward to using it in the classroom. Okay, on to what's new in Google. Google is still pushing out that new look. It's basically saying the new look is going to be the default interface starting Tuesday, so starting tomorrow, January 10th. Remember, I'm recording this on the 9th, so I'm hoping to get it out tonight. There is a one-time switch that you can put into the control panel if you're an administrator to make it go to the new look on your terms. In the new look, you'll have an option for setting for testing, a setting for treating SendMail as an alias. Haven't really figured out what they mean by that, but you can use the send. Oh, I think I know what that was. I think mentioned it in previous one. I believe that means when you reply, you send mail as, and you reply, it'll actually come back as the person you sent it as. Circles in Gmail, so label your inboxes by circles from Google+. So there's going to be a lot more integration between Google+ and Gmail. I'm hoping that's going to mean that they're going to bring Google+ to the K-12 school system soon. And you can take an attached image that is sent to your Gmail and share automatically with your Google+. So we're seeing a lot of the Google+ integration in there. Also in Contacts, the standalone contact service will have the same interface as the features that are currently available in Contacts inside of Gmail. So the contacts service and the contacts inside of Gmail will have the same interface. That is the new look that is coming along. There's another cool thing that I thought was really interesting, especially for schools, and that is keeping up with the 2000 elections. This is Google/elections. And if I go here, it's actually giving a lot of campaign information and news specifically for it. I can see a political calendar. I see a lot of R's for Republicans and then Barack Obama and Democrat. I'm not going to try and turn this into my own political views, but this would be a great way, especially with students, to help them follow the elections, because this is a very important thing for students to get in the habit of doing, especially high school students. I don't think I had this as much, so my political views, while I do have them, following it is not as much of a habit as it should be. So getting the students into the habit, getting the students really involved, it's their future. So get them hooked on early, and this would be a great way to start. Maybe hit it once a day, see what the new news is, and that is google.com/elections. Another thing I thought that they've just announced is, especially if you're a university, there is something called Computer Science for High School. And it says Computer Science for High School, and that says please apply. Well, the trick between applying here is this is actually universities need to apply to host this. If I'm understanding correctly, universities need to apply to host this. And what it is this is where universities can go and host a bunch of high school students for workshops and things specifically for high school math and science. I'm looking forward to seeing this come down here. The applications seem to be open until March 3rd. I will post the link out there. And I also post the link to a little bit more information because I think I was a little bit vague. But that is CS for HS. If you're a university willing to host these trainings, please go and take a look and apply. If you're a high school, please follow along. I'll talk about more about this program as they post about it. It looks like something I want to find out where the nearest college is that is hosting this and see if I can't send some students, considering I work for a high school. Back to the show. So that's the what's new in Google. Again, it's the new look, the U.S. campaigns, and the computer science for high school, which is open for universities and colleges to apply. And I want to talk about what's current in Google. And this is where I'm going to talk about a current feature in Google that's been around for a little while. And the one I want to talk about today is tasks. If you're in your Gmail and you click on the mail button, you'll have this little pull down here, and there's something called tasks. Tasks are a great way to organize all the things, basically a big to-do list. You can take your tasks, and I have a little app on my phone that shows me my tasks that I need to do. So I can manage it from my phone. I can manage it from my Gmail. And the other cool thing is you can have multiple task lists. So I actually I have a task list for items I need to purchase. Supply items and things I want to actually look at pricing for. So when I do make a purchase, I can make a little bit more of a bulk purchase and not forget anything. I have my daily to-do list I can throw on there. I have my shopping list I can throw on there. So you can have multiple lists built into these tasks. So it's a great resource in that regard. Under the actions, looks like you can indent and move things up. You can email the task list. You can print the task list. One of the other features that I really like about the task list is as you're surfing your email, and I get a lot of emails, please do this, please do that. And what I can do is if you click on an email, up in the top where you have the archive, delete button, you can click more and then you can add to tasks. So you can add an entire conversation. It doesn't do a single email, but it does do the entire conversation that you can add to tasks, and you can address it. So you can just click the task bar, click the little checkbox when you're done with it, and there you go. One little tip with this is if you are going to click the checkbox, by default, it just crosses it out, which is nice in some regards. Sometimes it can get a little craziness, but under the actions menu and tasks, you can say clear completed tasks will hide all the completed tasks that you have done, so you can clean up your list pretty easily in that regard. On with the show. App exploration. Actually, did I miss anything in tasks? Email, default, yep. So on with the show, app exploration. And I have found two little apps that I thought were really good. For the Marketplace app, again, reminding people that this is for administrators only to turn it on, and for this app to show up in the More menu on everybody's Gmail. I found ExamGeneral. Now, ExamGeneral, it states it as free to teachers and students. However, reading one of the reviews, they kind of gave a little warning saying that if you sign it up through the app, the Google App Market, it is considered an institution, and therefore it is not free. But an individual teacher can go straight to the website and sign on for free, and a teacher for free. I'm probably going to take a look at that more. We're doing another learning management system, so this is not something I necessarily need to put in place. I talked about that in my last show with Dan French. But if you just need an exam tool, this might be a great way to go. It does have some high reviews. It is free. Whether you need to call them up and see if you can still be free for the Android market, I would have to check up on that. But at least for an individual teacher, you can go in and set up tests. And it had a lot of nice features in here. You can assign widgets, grade exams, create classes. And it also looks like you can sell the exam or class access. So there's a lot of nice things. Take a look. That's Exam Central. I will post the link out on the show notes. Now for the Chrome Web Store. And I found this WiBit.net. There was an email out on the school listserv for Vermont talking about programming and teaching students to program. So when I was looking for the app, this one caught my eye. And what it is video tutorials offering cutting-edge programming and computer tutorials. So this is programming tutorials for school, and that's WiBit.net. You can add it to the Chrome store in there. Apparently it is just a link to the WiBit.net website. But it seems like a really nice thing for teaching programming to students, and that thread on the listserv actually has been growing quite a bit. There's a lot of people talking about it, and a lot of people miss it because it's one of those programs that kept getting cut. So hopefully we can bring that back into the schools programming. Okay, I think that's going to close up this show for today. So thank you for listening to the Google Weekly podcast with your host, Bjorn Berendt. You can follow the podcast by going to www.google-weekly.net. I do have a Twitter handle, GW Podcast. I have the Google Plus page, which I encourage you to go take a look at. You can follow by email, RSS. And as always, if you can please contribute to the show, there's adding comments to each post. I'd be looking forward to those. And hopefully we can get a conversation going around these. Bring those in, and I'll bring them into the show, and we can talk about them. Thank you very much, and never stop learning.
This is Torrance, and thank you for listening.